This is the only league where I don't have Chubb in, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll let you. You might. We like to start right on time. Did everybody? Yes. Okay. Did you get one? Oh.
Okay. Let you get yours and throw it.
You went.
Yeah.
Okay.
One chance. Come on.
Let you pick.
No, I don't want to pick it. No,
if you pick yourself,
that's rigged.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get that.
It's a flat one there. It's a flat one.
Woo, Ashley!
Yay!
Wow.
You're our 11 o'clock winner.
Okay, you get a pick. Good one.
Daniel, hold it next time.
I know.
Roll it up. Roll it up. Okay. We have a couple announcements. It's the end of the quarter. And so if you have ducks from transactions, so we do this thing called ducks in a row. So if you have a transaction, write a contract, do your DA, and then you put it all in command and all of your stuff is uploaded when you close and your check comes in, then you get a duck because all your ducks are in a row, right? If we have to ask you for forms or anything like that, then you don't get that. So if you have ducks collected for the last 3 months, trade them in for tickets because we're going to do our giveaway next week.
The giveaway is next week.
It's
so we need your ducks back.
The last Tuesday of the quarter is next week. So we're going to do a little awards thing. We're going to do a little duck giveaway and something else. What else are we doing? Anyway, it'll be fun. Inventive. All right. We are looking for a rock star ASC front desk person. So if you guys know anybody that's super awesome and wants to take on a challenge of a leadership role at the brokerage, learn what it takes to be a real estate agent, learn how to do all the things, tech savvy, social media savvy, you know, that kind of a person.
Can put up with Kim and Molly.
Can put up with us.
Oh, that's not right.
I
had 6 people. You do that.
Corey.
Okay, anyway, we're looking for somebody for that role. If you know anybody or you're interested, let us know. We have an Indeed application to send to Lena for that. We are also on the hunt for great agents. So it's career night. Our career night's next week on the 27th. So if anybody wants to get into real estate, now is the time. I have a great freaking promo. I have a Rockwell promo for $2.99 to get your real estate license. Wow. Which is like, wow.
I should have waited.
Yeah, well, I also have a promo to get into K-Score still. So Keller Williams Kaplan program is still promoted to no cost. So it's a little bit more difficult to do the studying. It's not the same and easy as Rockwell. I shouldn't say easy as Rockwell, simple process through, but it still is a free option. So if anybody wants to get started right away and they don't have the cash right up front, just let me know there's scholarship for that. Tomorrow is our tiny home broker tour, and I don't know if anybody knows about it because I have already told like 4 people this morning that nobody knew. Tomorrow we're meeting at noon. And we're just driving down the street to 88. And right where the old preceded tanning was, right behind there is Carriage Houses Northwest. They're going to give us a tour of some of their little tiny homes that they do there. They build them on their site, and I think they build them on site too if somebody wants a dadu in their backyard. Then they're going to do a little information time where they're going to talk about what it takes to get a dadu, like maybe permitted structure or whatever that is. And then they have a rebate back to agents. So if you refer somebody to get a dadu to them and they build it, I think it's like $1,500. So it's kind of a cool little give and take there. And it's going to be fun. And we get to go in the tiny houses. So tomorrow from 12 to 1. Contracts class with Amy is Thursday at 1. I have calendars here if anybody wants one. All this is on the calendar. Thursday contracts class, Amy, 1 o'clock contracts. They're making a change to some of our purchase and sell contracts again. MLS keeps updating them every year. It's wonderful. But because of that, definitely hit Amy's class and just see what the changes are. And then Friday is new agent orientation from 10 to 12 that I suggest anybody go to if you're a new agent or if you've come off a team or if you just need a refresher. That's Friday from 10 to 12 and they're saying you're done. And then, oh, I've said ducks in a row already, but again, if you have ducks, turn them in. If you don't have them now, we can turn them in at the front desk. Well, you know, stand there for a minute, Kim and I will come out of the office and find them. Okay, so do you have any announcements?
I don't think so.
Okay, do you have anything that you're
Couple things,
like housekeeping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so a few things. One is we have a really long list of agents in our office that haven't paid their board of realtor dues. You have till the end of this year to get yours for 2023 paid without getting a $450 reinstatement fee or fine that will get tacked onto your 2024 dues. So call the Board of Realtors office, get on a payment plan. If you haven't paid your dues already, we are all required to pay because we are a Board of Realtors office, so there's just no getting around it. If you're a realtor here, your office, your dues have to be paid. But they will work with you and they'll just do like monthly payment plans. But I just want to save everybody from that additional $450 fine if you can work it out and try to get it paid before the end of this year. There are significant revisions coming to the law, to the agency law. This is mostly pertaining to working with buyer brokers and buyer brokerage agreements. So because of the Senate Bill 5191, which contained significant revisions to the agency law, was unanimously passed in the House. Come April of 2023, it was signed, and then come January 1st of 2024, the revisions will take place. So some of those revisions are requiring real estate firms to enter into written brokerage service agreements with a buyer as soon as reasonably practicable after commencing real estate brokerage services. So that's new, that's never been required, but now it will be required, just like we're always required to have a listing agreement with sellers, we have to have an agreement with buyers as well. They're changing the term dual agent to be limited dual agent to reflect that a broker representing both buyer and seller in the transaction are somewhat limited in the representation of the parties. Giving buyers and sellers clear choices whether to consent to individual brokerages acting as a limited dual agent by requiring their consent to limited dual agency. Clarifying that a broker owes certain duties, RCWs, to all parties in a transaction, ensuring complete transparency with regards to compensation by requiring the real estate firm to disclose to all parties any compensation offered to the firm by another party or another real estate firm. And then modernizing the simplifying the pamphlet, the law agency pamphlet. So you'll see these changes coming in. There are there's going to be classes on this. You'll see there's clock hour classes that MLS is putting out. You can sign up. You can take these online. We'll be talking about them more and do classes here as well as those laws come in and start taking place. But it's a good idea to take those, get to know the changes before it actually goes into effect January 1st. Okay? The last one is that MLS just published the disciplinary actions. And whenever they do that, I just like to read it and then remind you guys of what people are getting fined for and why to hopefully keep you guys out of hot water so you're not getting the same thing happening. Hopefully I don't go anything on the list. We do not.
Yay!
We got turned in for one thing this last quarter and I wrote a response, we got it dropped. So that was for an agent not following showing instructions, but we were able to just get it dismissed. Okay, this broker here, I won't name the names, but it's just interesting to see what some of these fines amount to. So the broker failed to timely update a listing to the accurate corresponding statuses and conducted showings of that property that should have otherwise been in a non-showing status. So basically they didn't mark it pending when it should have been pending and continued to show it while it was in a pending status. They got fined $3,500 for that. Ouch. Yeah, so make sure that you're changing your statuses appropriately, and as soon as reasonably possible. The broker promoted a property prior to inputting the corresponding active listing to the Northwest MLS database. So as you guys know, you are not allowed to advertise any property in any manner whatsoever, not by email, text, phone conversation, agent to agent, without it actually being active in the Northwest MLS database. It's considered a pocket listing, and we don't allow that with our MLS. That was a $2,000 fine. Ouch. Yeah.
Just a question on that.
Scratch that property I was talking about earlier. I'm kidding.
Can you say you have off-market properties that you know about? That would be it too.
You're not allowed to advertise any property in any manner whatsoever without it being active in the Northwest MLS database.
So if
Does it happen? Yes. Is there a fine associated with it? Yes. Sometimes you gotta, go risk versus reward, But if somebody sees it and turns you in, you are subject to being a fine.
If I post a picture of a for sale by owner or conversation they have, and I'm not representing them,
I advertise it. Somebody called me and asked if they could do an open house for sale by owner. You cannot. With a licensed realty, you being a licensed real estate broker, cannot advertise property that's not active in that.
That is good to know. I did know that.
That's another one, same one. The broker used personal contact information from the Northwest MLS database to send promotional emails to Northwest MLS subscribers advertising vendors' goods and services. That was $2,000. Ouch.
So don't copy and paste all the brokers in MLS.
You can't go into the MLS and take brokers' personal contact information to solicit them, nor sellers' contact information to solicit them. So make sure if you are doing like expired lists or something that you're getting it from a third party, you can prove that, because if somebody turned you in and said you got this information because you were looking at expires on the MLS and you can't prove that you got their information somewhere else besides the MLS, then you can be subject to that fine as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're calling canceled and expired,
you need to get their phone number and scrub from a different source. And there are companies that provide that data, but you can't get it directly from the MLS.
Okay.
There's a bunch of those. There's 3 in a row.
They're making it difficult.
Another promoting the listing before it's active. Another promoting the listing before it's active. The designated broker used his electronic key for purposes not normal or customary for a real estate broker and advertised another member's listing without written permission. $4,000 fine. Who is the naughty business?
No, but did I make one of those videos? Come poop with me in the bathroom.
So I don't know what using their key outside of customary, who knows what that could be. They who knows.
Cheaper than a hotel.
Oh my God!
I don't know. It was $4,000.
Has to be something worse than
Maybe we didn't know the fines though. That's just it. We don't know how big these fines are. We're just like, oh, I'll just pop in and do you need to use the bathroom? I'll just reopen the door.
It sounds a little worse than like staying 5 minutes beyond what's standard,
A $4,000 fine is pretty significant, so I'm thinking there's probably something there. But advertising another member's listing without written permission. Just remember, if you guys are going to advertise somebody else's listing, get the broker's permission and you need their DD's permission. So just CC both. And if any of you guys want to advertise anybody in this office, you have to get that broker's permission. You can CC me. I'll respond. I'll approve it, but we need the other agent's permission before you go ahead and do that.
You need a written permission.
Written permission in the email works.
I've actually seen that a couple times here, so watch it.
A broker improperly contacted the seller and solicited the cancellation of a listing. We did not solicit sellers that have active properties in the Northwest MLS. That was a $3,000 fine.
So if you're
No, that's out of culture.
if you're doing an open house for somebody,
You still need to get written permission if you're gonna share. I can't do your own house up there.
Technically, yeah. If they're allowing you to do the open house, and obviously they're allowing you to advertise a listing, but just you have those emails to back it up, and you should always CC their first. The member through a website affiliated with the firm advertised properties without inputting the corresponding active listing into the Northwest MLS database and displayed the other members' listing data without permission. $7,000 fine. Okay. These are all a lot of the duplicates. The majority on here are advertising listings.
Wait, can you read the $7,000 fine one again? I think I was too vague on what that
Well,
was.
it doesn't give a lot of detail. It just says the member through a website affiliated with the firm. So they must have somehow inputted a listing into their website without it being in the Northwest MLS. On their own website, advertise properties without inputting the corresponding active listing into the Northwest MLS database, and displayed other members' listing data without permission. So it was a double whammy. And they were fined $7,000.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, careful. We're not on the list though. None of them are us.
Hopefully they sold it.
That was it. The majority of these, though, you guys are advertising properties without them being in the Northwest MLS. Those are the most common is a $2,000 fine. And we're still a policing industry. I can't tell you how many times I see on Facebook one of our brokers or somebody posting like coming soon or getting ready to list and something, and I have to PM them on Facebook like, could you please take that down? Otherwise, you might get a $2,000 fine. People do, other agents, because we're self-policing, they say, if I can't do it, you can't do it. So they screenshot it, they fill out the form, they send it in, and you'd be surprised at how many people get turned in for those kinds of things. So just beware.
I was one of those, and it was in my story on my Instagram, and I did literally wrote in there, coming soon. And so somebody screenshotted that, sent that to the MLS, and turned me in.
Really?
Yeah, and so Amy always has my, this is your channel.
You're good, Mel.
Amy always has my back and my support, and so Amy then educated me in regards to, do something different, as in like, hey, I love picture day, and you take a photo then of the photographer doing something, or you talk about something else, but you can't necessarily do the, hey, coming soon.
Don't put an address, don't put a price.
Yeah.
Don't make any mentions to the fact that you're selling this piece of property.
Yes.
But you can say photo day.
Yeah.
It's questionable. I mean, if you had to defend, I don't know how that would get, if we.
And this is only because it's not listed in the MLS, right?
Yes.
Yeah, until it's active. Once it's active, feel free to advertise.
Oh, okay, so if it's active and you're having an open house like in 2 weeks, then you can just.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. All this
Yeah.
was, this was not.
This is just the.
If you don't have an MLS number that's active, right?
Yes.
Right. Ooh. We're not gonna collect fines. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have your brain, because all that stuff that you said, when you start reading all the legal stuff, I'm like, it all blurs out. So go to the classes, take the classes. Amy we'll put them on the calendar and we'll try to flag them when they come up. We're gonna mastermind a little bit today. Is that okay, everybody? Everybody? Okay. I was really excited. We went to Built How. We had 23 people there. We had a great dinner. We had 27 people at our office dinner there. It was down in Phoenix. It was a 3-day event that Ben Kenny put on called Built How. And it was amazing. So there was 3 main speakers. There was Jesse Itzler. He's like a empowering, uplifting guy. He does one of those big long races called endurance athlete.
Last minute saving.
Yeah, just crazy races and
Run
stuff.
until your toenails fall off, basically.
Yeah, and keep going, and then have a positive attitude at the end. It was insane. Oh yeah, he literally said toenails swimming around in his shoes. It was disgusting. But the message I took away from him was to be authentic to everyone in every relationship you have, whether it's business, personal, family, friends, enemies, kids, whoever. You never know who you're talking to, and so always be authentic. And then we had Sarah Blakely was another speaker, and she is the first self-made woman billionaire in the U.S.
Wow.
You guys might recognize her brand is Spanx, which she ended up selling, but she's still on the board. But she said, be okay with failure and rise. So put yourself into situations where you can fail, like take the risk, right? And then rise out of it, find a way. That was awesome. And then there was one more speaker, Colin O'Brady. He had a major accident when he was young, and then healed out of it, but got this vision that he wanted to do something big with his life. So he did this 7 and 7, like you climb the 7 peaks on the 7 continents within a certain amount of time. Crazy, with no background in mountaineering or training. He just took on the challenge, figured out how to make it happen, raised the money, and did it as like a nonprofit. It was crazy. And then after that, he decided to hike across Antarctica, pulling a sled. But his whole endurance stories and everything, the message he had was to put love behind your goals, not fear. Don't drive yourself forward with fear, drive yourself forward with love and excitement. If you have love and excitement, it puts you in that flow state. If you have fear, you're running away from something. It's a different energy. So anyway, those were the 3 major speakers. And there was just so many others that I can't tell you the impactful value of the event. There's 2,500 people. You show up early in the morning, you meet an office mate down in the lobby, you get your coffee, you walk a couple blocks in 104-degree temperature and sweat like a pig when you get there. You sit down and you're in the dark and you just learn. It's impactful, it's huge. There's panel after panel of people just like you and me and Tori and Daniel all sitting in there saying the things that they do in their business to grow their businesses, right? We talked about life, vulnerability, wellness, business, activity, tech, strategies, wealth building, estate planning, taxes, and all of it had to do with focus and attention. And so that's what I want to mastermind around today, is that business is built like a house from the ground up. And we have to have the foundation in order to build the walls on it and the roof. The foundation is the fundamentals of our business of real estate, and the things and as wide as we build that is as big as our structure is, right? And then we put up the walls, the things that we do steady Eddie every day, the things that keep the wind out in the cold days and the hard days and the storms, right? And then on top of those walls, we can create a roof. And that protects us, protects our family, and makes our whole foundation and walls and everything last for a really long time, right? The quality of the roof is the quality of the building, but it all starts with the foundation. The foundation is the focus and the attention, right? What you focus on expands. Diana Kokoska. Diana Kokoska was there. If you don't know who Diana Kokoska is, she was one of the founders of the coaching program for Keller Williams. She created maps. She created Bold, a class we all take to learn the fundamentals. And she said, we don't drift our way to success, right? We want to. I want to be a leaf in the wind and just flutter along and be Molly, you know? Like that's kind of my personality. I flitter around and whatever. But that's not focus, right? And focus matters. What is the difference between focus and attention? Does anybody want to take a shot?
I have candy done by him.
What is the difference between focus
And attention?
Is attention more present?
Maybe. I like present. Present, anyone? Think about it. Focus and attention.
Intention or intentional.
Attention is intentional, right? Intentional. Oh. Michelle.
Oh, fail.
Sorry, Michelle.
Yeah. I'm gonna run it out of thrower.
I'm gonna write it up here. I'm gonna write focus and attention. Focus, think about when we focus on something, when we put our attention on something, right? That's like we it's what we're observing. Like it's the whole picture, right? We're paying attention to our business. We're paying attention to our family. When we focus on something, it's the central point of our attention, right? So if we're focused on our business, right, then business is like this, you know, and there's all these different spokes that is our business. So one of these spokes will be our focus. So what you focus on matters, right? Yeah, what you focus on expands. And right now, what do you think we need to be focusing on in real estate? We're all out there. We all have boots on the ground. Like pay attention, attention to this room, right? Every single one of us is focused on something maybe a little bit different than the others. Would you agree? So what is it that we're focused on right now? That.
Prospect.
Right. Just throw your voice in your hand.
Right. Lead gen and prospecting is really important. Right? I think that it's really important to lead gen, prospecting. What else?
Educating our clients on how to make the best investment for their families.
Conversations.
Yeah.
And our education, so we can help them with that, right? I think that's important. I think it's also important to focus on your tactics. Sarah Blakely, when she was talking to us about creating her business stinks and her brand, she talked about, she had the idea on it, right? She had attention. She had the attention of kind of the direction she wanted to go, but she had to focus her attention on exactly what she needed to do to get there. What's the next step, right? At one point, she was doing all these things, and she said, I was in the wrong movie. She was like driving down the road, and she was thinking of all the things that she had to do and super stressed out, and she was like, I'm in the wrong movie because her attention wasn't focused in the right spot. She had to really hone down and figure out exactly what she needed to do next. So focus on your tactics. What's your tactics? You gotta have a plan, right? How many appointments do you need to hold this week? Lance, how many appointments are you holding this week?
4.
4. Great. Daniel?
No one answered that question.
Okay.
That's what
Better get 1. Yeah, put that down. Right, do 1. Kelly?
I got 3.
Corey? Okay, all right, that's good. You know why? Because even if you say 0, you know what your tactics are. What's next? What's the plan? If you're at 0, get 1, right? Is 0 going to move you forward? No. So we want to move forward, right? Get super tactical. How many calls and texts do you need to make that 1 appointment, right? What is your conversion rate? How many times do you have to have a conversation to set the appointment? Every time you have a conversation about real estate, you can get face to face with that client? No, it's changing, right? It's harder. It's like Julie said, we have to educate ourselves and have the conversation. All right, so what is our job in real estate? Anyone? Come on. Lance, what's your job?
Like the job description.
Yeah. What does Gary say? What do we have to do? Leads.
Well, you're starting on the board.
Yeah, leads, listings, and leverage, right? So our job every day is dials, conversations, appointments, and contracts. It's that simple. Is it easy? No.
Focus on consistency.
Yeah, focus on consistency. Good. Like Lance says, get really good at being bored. Right? Consistency is boring. You're doing the same thing over and over and over. I had 3 days at Bill Howe of all of this great information, tactics, lead generation, conversation scripts, all this stuff. And I thought to myself, wow, this is really boring. This is all the fundamentals. We already know this, right? But you have to revisit it. You have to keep doing it. Be consistent. Educate yourself on the same things over and over and over again. Say the same lines over and over and over and over. And when it sounds like I'm repeating myself and I sound like a broken record, good, because that means we're getting consistent, right? Okay, so we're doing dials, conversations, appointments, contracts. This is how we plan our business, right? We plan our business this way. This is how we get paid. So where do you find clients? Everywhere. Love that. Where are your clients? Clients are everywhere. Okay, but I'm new to real estate and I don't know what this is. Too bad. Right?
For people that you already know.
Sphere.
Open houses.
Open. That's right away business. That's great.
Door knocking.
Door knocking. Social media. Social media. Bizbos.
Soccer practice.
If you're doing Bizbos and expireds, make sure that you have a second resource where you're getting their phone number from, right? Because Amy, otherwise we get a $3,000 fine, something like that. It was like $2,000. It was expensive. Get another source where you can source their phone numbers from, and then have that on file. Sorry, that was a heavy fine. I don't even like $150 fines from them, or what, $50 fines. Where else do we find clients?
Sports practice.
Okay, sports. Oh, networking.
There was a big emphasis if you have a team, which grow your team.
Okay.
Simply, when you grow your team, you grow your network, right?
Network.
Social prospecting.
Thanks. Yep, I'm gonna put that up here by opens. Circle prospect your open houses. You know, go a little bit early and knock on everybody's door. Go the night before and help them out. How can we help you? You know, what can we teach you? How can we bring value to you in your real estate portfolio? What does real estate look like for you? Ask them different questions. Think outside the box. So attention. I'm going to switch from focus now to attention. Attention is, it matters what you're listening to. So attention, remember, is simply what an individual is observing. And I was thinking about what that meant to me in my business. And it was, I wanted to change it to pay attention to your client. And who is our client? Everyone, right? So pay attention. You don't know who you're sitting to. You don't know who you're next to on the bus. You don't know who the next phone call is that you're calling. They might have 10 houses they need to liquidate. You have no idea, right? Pay attention to what they need. Listen to them. The scripts matter. Todd Dutzman wants to start a script practice in the morning. I said, absolutely, we should definitely have a script practice. Especially with us here. I feel like our brokerage talks different than other brokerages. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a little more to say, and I think that we value what our clients say already, and we want to help them move forward, right? We're always here to like help people. We're grateful for our clients, and that's our culture at North Sound. So we want to pay attention to what their needs are. It's so important. What is one thing I can do to narrow my activities? How do we concentrate our attention when we're listening to our clients? Okay, let me back up. This guy on stage, Fred said, he's a master at scripts and a master. He said, our world has changed. And when we dial somebody on the phone and we call somebody, do they want to answer? No. Do you guys want to answer if you get like a robocall or a phone number you don't know? I sure don't. I don't answer. I like have to actually fix my voicemail going out again because I think it's wrong again, right? But I want to change it all the time so it sounds different. But I don't like to answer the phone, and I don't think anybody does. None of my clients do. You know, I'm like, God. Then I want to text them, right? But then I'm like, oh, Lance taught me a long time ago, there's 7 levels of communication. And the top level of communication is my voice. If I'm just texting somebody that can't feel what I'm saying, you know, I try really hard to put feelings in my text with emojis and things, but that's not right. You know, how do we get them on the phone? How do we get them to answer the phone, right? It's so difficult. Do you phone and then text? Like, I want to talk about how we're doing that. And maybe anybody that's like, Lance, you get 4 appointments a week. How are you getting people face to face from a phone call? Or how are you getting them to pick up the phone?
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways. Obviously, you just smile for dollars or call for dollars. Just think about it like this: you just gotta make the phone calls, and then eventually people will pick up the phone. And the ones that don't, depending on where you're at, you can just follow up with a text message saying, "Hey, I just left your voicemail. When you get a chance, you know, give me a call or get back to me." And then depending on why you're calling them, you're making there's 3 reasons for a phone call. You're either calling to book an appointment, strengthen the relationship, or ask for a referral. So you got to ask yourself, who am I calling right now? What's my reason for the phone call? If I'm calling leads, like random or internet lead or open house or whatever, I'm calling to essentially book an appointment. I want to get face to face with you. If I'm calling to ask for a referral, I don't necessarily need to get face to face with you to ask for a referral. If I'm calling you to strengthen the relationship, I don't need to get face to face with you to strengthen the relationship either. Now, maybe we haven't seen each other in a while, and I say, hey, you know what? Let's get some breakfast, or let's get some lunch, or whatever that might look like. But I don't spend a tremendous amount of time face to face with those people. I want to get face to face with people that I can do business with.
I like that.
What were they saying? I think the percentage of making contact with people significantly went up after your 6th attempt.
Yeah.
Most brokers quit after 1 or 2, maybe 3 attempts of trying to reach somebody, but it was really the magic happened on your 6, like 6 to 8 is where like 80 or 90% of the contact was made.
So when I call and I leave 1 voicemail, I don't give up. I left them a voicemail. I sent them a text.
So
How many times do you run into somebody just getting really mad at you contacting them more than a couple times?
I don't. If they're getting really mad at you,
conduct business, people are just busy.
Yeah.
That Fred said, he calls 3 times in a row, one right after the other,
Oh, wow.
the other after the other.
Oh wow.
Yeah, cancel the expires, 3 times in a row, keep calling
wow.
until they answer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Till he
fun.
had his picture taken with him. I got it right.
I would probably answer. But
He's
like,
a
oh, this is
gangster.
a robot.
So Michelle, if you're calling and somebody's really mad at you, then there's no reason to be calling them ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, then somehow they didn't give you their phone number to have you call them. You know, I want to call people that like gave me the okay to give them a phone call, and or if they didn't, and if they're super mad at me, then I'll just apologize. Say, hey, no problem. I'll take you off the list. Thank you for taking my call.
Right.
I even had family members say that they wouldn't answer because they know I work for Keller Williams now. So I was like, what? And then I asked them about it, and they're like, we get Keller Williams calls like 3 times in a row, probably from the same guy. And it just frustrates us. And I was like, well, I was just calling.
Did you say your family members?
Diop was a family member.
Well, there's probably something else going on there then too. But.
Yeah, well, it goes back to this. We gotta pay attention to what our clients pay attention. Everybody's a client, right?
Yeah.
And we have to pay attention to what they're saying. You know, obviously they're frustrated. So the answer I would say with frustration like that is, well, that's exactly why we need to meet. Let me show you why I would be a better agent than that. Right? Let me prove to you. Because that person needs proof. It needs some type of proof, right? Just to even like have another phone call, right? Right? Let me prove it to you. How can I help you? What value can I bring? That. And maybe don't ask them the value, ask some questions to find out what the value is that they need. Attention matters. Attention to their needs, attention to what's next. You know, always pay attention. Oh, I wrote this down. People say, always I always hear, pay attention to your language, right? Pay attention to your language. Pay attention to what your language sounds like. And I'm gonna actually push back on that, and I'm gonna say no. Pay attention to your client's language and then match that language, right? Don't, right. Pay attention to what they're saying. It doesn't really matter what you're saying. What kind of things, when you're talking to a client and you're paying attention to things that they're saying, you know, when they're saying like, no, Molly, we're not, you know, they'll come back with something short and sharp, right? So you're like, you know, what are your real estate plans? I always hear that script. Hey, what are your real estate needs and what are your real estate plans? And I'm like, okay, no. Who says that, you know? Hey, Molly, what are your plans in aviation in the next year? No, I don't have it. What are your real estate plans and needs? Instead of saying something like that, it's, hey, you know, how can I help you understand something maybe you don't know about real estate? Do you have any questions about real estate? I've ever sold a house before.
Do you have any real estate related questions I can answer for you?
Ah, I love that. You have
Simple.
Very simple, right? If they say no, what do you say? No, Lamb, I don't, except the market stinks.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and then I probably just say, well, I mean, if they got a bad attitude like that, then I probably wouldn't even ask them the question.
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah.
But if they don't, just say, okay, well, if you did have any real estate related questions, do you have a person you'd call and ask?
Oh, I like that too. I like that too. But they,
Look at that. Oh, everybody perked up on that one.
yeah.
I just made it up.
Well, if they turn around and say, you know, no, I don't have any, but this, listen to them. Listen to what I said. I actually had a question.
Yeah.
That I didn't even know. Right?
Here are the clues, and I like that the Goldman Sachs guy, they asked him how, if I was coming to you, and this is a guy that knows numbers, and you know, if you're a real estate professional going to him, trying to get him to make a move or do something, I said, how would we sell that to you? And he said, show me how to do it and what that looks like. And so what I took from that is, let's say, I mean, that's a common objection right now, like, why would I sell when I get a 3% interest rate?
Right.
It's like, but maybe they're having a kid, or there's you know, their house is too small, but they're still not making that move because they feel like right now is not the time. And so if you can hear that and then show them the delta, show them the difference. Say, listen, I understand you're in this 3% interest, but the reality is your house is too small. Is that going to change in the near future or get any better for you? Probably not. So if, you know, home prices are still up today and you had to go buy a home at this price, at this rate, your payment's this much, and say you had to do that for 2 years. Here's, you know, it's going to cost you, yeah, 20 grand, let's say, over 2 years, you know, in order to get your family in a home that actually suits you, and, you know, is that something you're willing to take on and decide you can maybe refi later when rates improve? Or, you know, I think if you can show people a plan and show them, whether it's, you know, they're like 20 grand, you know, you're right, like that's not that big of a deal, right?
Build confidence
to like go and make a move from that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I like what you just said, to pay attention to what they're saying and then show them the plan and show them.
Well, it's one of the opportunities that are out there as well. Like, you know, when the market's hot and interest rates are low, everything's going over inflated, and
well, and I promise you, once interest rates come back down, this market is going to bounce and spike, and homes values are going to go crazy again.
So they can get deals.
Yeah, they don't know their options until we educate them on them. So listening to what they need and then coming back around to their motivation and showing them the options that maybe are available and that they didn't know is like, you know, we're not stuck in these interest rates forever. You know, people are going to refi, at least, but no, it's not.
Everybody's being taught right now that real estate is no longer a trusted legacy. And so I think it's our job now to make sure that we're recreating that idea, right? Like, it is still a trusted legacy, and this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of timing, it is your trusted legacy, and this is what you need to do now.
Yeah. If you go into KW Connect and look at Gary's slides from Family Reunion, they're in there. There's a file for him, and you can look at his slides. He has a slide in there that shows the trend line over all of these years in real estate, and the line is just consistently going up. Like the market's like this all along the way. The trend line goes up. So if you can show confidence in the trend line and show confidence in real estate as an investment and the wealth that they've built, right? And there was another slide I think you had in there that over 60% of, I don't know, I'm not a numbers person at all, but it was like over 60% of people or something like that have more than 50% of their equity in their home. There's a lot of people that have this just sitting equity that they don't know that they can actually create wealth with, right? And so we have to just give confidence and have these different conversations. Our scripts sound different, and our scripts are more like we're consultants. We're real estate consultants.
Real estate planner. So I mean, going back to what Amy just did is Amy just became the real estate planner for those people and her clients, of asking the questions and then listening and then drawing out a plan for them.
Yeah, and then asking permission. If the plan isn't enacted right away, can I check in with you in 3 months and make sure that all of this stuff is still correct, right? And if anything's changed, we can address that and put that into your plan, right? So otherwise, maybe they need to do it right now, you know? Maybe you need to ask them, hey, I understand that you need a bigger house, right? What day can you come in and make a plan with me to get that? Yes, I know that the interest rates are high. And yes, I know all the objections that they're gonna give you, you know? But like, you move into this planner person, and then you move into the ability to figure out what their goals are, right? Find out their goals. What is a question to find out someone's goals? Just really simple, without going, hey, what are your plans? What are your goals? Right? It's not an easy market. So tell me, why are you so committed to buy? And then just shut up, right? Why are you so committed, right? You came in and met me. We're having a buyer's consultation. It's not an easy market. Why are we doing this? You know? Oh my gosh, well, I have this job coming up. I have to move to Virginia. You know, my aunt's gonna come in and she can't afford this house, so we gotta sell it and find something else, and whatever, right? Everybody's goal is different. We gotta pay attention to what those needs are and just seek and address the needs. And Debbie DeGroat said, people don't buy numbers, they buy houses, right? So don't overshare. Don't overshare how much the value of a house is. Don't overshare how much interest rates are or how much it's going to cost. Let's just talk about the needs and how to get through the needs, and then we'll structure the deal on the end of that when we're writing the contracts. Because we are all superpowers, because we can all solve people's problems with the contract. Contract is the #1 tool we have to solve everybody's problem, right? How do we deal with that? We write a contract about that. What about this? We put it in the contract. Oh, we can put that in the 34, you know? We can write this in, we can do this, we can get an inspection. We're just stepping up to plate, we're just starting. But all of that has to do with the clients, and none of that has to do with details. The details come later. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Start with the feelings with people. Have conversations around what they're feeling, what their fears are, what they need, what their wants are, what their desires are, and then build a plan around that. And then the numbers and all of the stats and all that crap come in at the end to prove the plan. So, and that's how you get people to move and get them off the fence and figure out, you've got to figure out what their needs are and then help them pull the trigger. And of course we do that ethically, right? We don't want to push anybody into something they don't want to do, but we have to surface what they actually need to do, and so we can help them. See the difference? Right. So how long are you prepared to stay in your current situation? Right? You could stay here for 5 more years. 1, you know, is your house too small? Is that going to be okay with your 4 kids? And you're, you know, in a year from now, you're going to have 2 teenagers, a guy and a girl. Do you think they're going to want to share a room? That might be different when puberty hits. There's all sorts of things that come in. Oh, and there was one question to find out their goals and help motivate them and move them forward that Debbie DeGroat was talking about. She was saying, you know, you listen to all of their objections, you listen to all their needs, you move through like everything, trying to figure out solve a plan, and if they're still not motivated and ready to move, you use the Columbo close. We were like, the Columbo close, and then I was like, oh yeah, you know, the green cigars. He would be like, okay, and then he'd go, oh, just one more thing. You'd always say at the end of the, oh, just one more thing, right? And find out what that is. Find their pain point, find that motivation, and just say, oh, just one more thing. When your kids are, you know, 15 and 16, are they gonna want to sleep in bunk beds? Just one more thing. Right? Just one more thing, right? If I could show you a way to, you know, sell this house and buy a duplex and rent the other side out and have your overhead paid for, would that make sense to you? Would that be something you would be interested in learning? Really get curious, pay attention to your clients, and figure out what their needs are. It's just so important and impactful. How am I doing on time?
It's 11:51.
Oh, well, we're gonna end like this because Diana Kokoska said this, and I wrote it down, highlighted it, underlined it, and circled it. She said, don't ever end your conversation with your clients too early. Don't let them walk away because they have money, your money in their pocket, right? So don't let them leave, right? Ever, until they've signed a contract or you've made a next step. Ever, even if you're just on the phone. Don't let them hang up until you've figured out and ask for a follow-up ability. You know, hey, can I call you and check in 3 months? Hey, let's set an appointment. What are you doing on Thursday? Let's sit down and make a plan. I love when I'm on the phone, if I'm talking to somebody, or even sometimes I can do this with the text, is I like to make the plan sound tangible. So I say, hey, let's get together and throw everything on the table and make a plan. Because in their mind, they're in front of me and we're putting everything on it. You can't put everything on a table on a Zoom call, right? I like to say that. Let's go sit down and have a cup of coffee and discuss it. Let's throw everything on the table, right? Bring everything to the appointment and let's go through it together. I like tangible, real things because then they feel like, oh, they're going to show up and we're going to actually go through it. As long as they're ready to go, like Lindsay. Yeah.
One time, Kelly and I, we sat in here with the tables and the whiteboard, and we brought in Michael Jefferson, and they
Stones.
Yes, the Stones, and they were contemplating: do we keep the house? Do we sell the house? Do we buy another home? Do we just stay here? What do we do? So Kelly and I then, with Michael Jefferson, it's all about, we ran the numbers for them. And we used the whiteboard right here. We came up with, I think we came up with 3 scenarios. I can only think of 2. You keep it and you rent it out. The other one was you sell it and you buy something else. But somehow I'm thinking of it. We had a plan C too. But at the end of the day, though, we sat down here with them for about an hour, a little over an hour, and we used the whiteboard and we ran all these different scenarios with them. And then left it up to them, and we educated them, just like Amy was doing, being a real estate planner. And Kelly and I weren't tied to the outcome. We're just tied to educating them on what the situation was. And then sure enough, then we ended up selling their home, and they bought another home with us. And it was just us taking our time to educate them on what's happening, what's going on.
I think it's super important to create the foundation for them, right? People get into these situations and they don't know what to do or what's next, and helping them, even if they're not going to sell now, maybe they're going to sell maybe they're 2024 sellers or they're 2025 sellers, right? Put them in the pipeline and then ask to follow up with them, because it empowers them so that all of a sudden when life changes or something happens or somebody dies or somebody has a baby or, you know, like life happens to people. And then they don't just call a Redfin agent because they know that you're following up with them. So, hey, we created this plan, and I know that you're probably not going to do anything until 2025, but I know life happens every month, every day life happens. So when that happens, let me know and we'll readjust your plan, right? But if it doesn't happen right away, I will call you in 3 months. And create that dental follow-up plan. The dentist always sends me a postcard. Now you gotta go to cleaning. You floss, you know? The flossing dental plan. Clean your gutters. Did you do this? Right? So I think it's just really impactful and important to create those plans. That's amazing. Anybody have anything to add? Any questions?
I just have something really quick.
Yeah.
On the Rising Tides call last week, one of the agents was talking about like all of these things, like all the different ways to, you know, put yourself out there. And he was saying like challenge yourself. He would drive up to pick his daughter up from school every day, and he would just be in the drive-up line, sitting in his car waiting. And then there's, you know, all these people out there outside waiting. So he would park his car and then walk up to the school. And then he just started talking to all the different moms and dads and everybody. And he never said like, I'm a real estate agent, let me sell your house. He just talked and created relationships with them all. But then that way he's putting himself out there. Eventually they're going to learn what he does for a living. And then when they have a real estate need, then they're like, oh, talk to this dad I know. So I think that's something that's super helpful. Like there's all these situations that are just your regular standard everyday situation that you're just alone waiting in your car when you could be walking out and then mingling people.
Yeah, there's $100,000 out there in that air pickup line, and it's in other people's pockets, right? So go up and get it. Don't pat anybody down. Don't write that down.
Molly, the biggest thing here is to take action.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, everybody can go to an event. You can fly across the whole world and go to something. Go to as many classes as you want. You can sit and watch YouTube videos. You can sit and watch all the Instagram you want to do. You can learn. But until you actually freaking do something, it means nothing. It's pointless. It's like getting in the batter's box and don't swing the bat. What's the point? Get out of the box and let somebody else come in and hit. Because here's what's going to happen. Because if you don't do it, I already know Kelly's going to make that phone call and he's going to make that contact. And next thing you know, sign will be in the market with Kelly's name on it and not yours because you took out, because you were getting ready to get ready.
Right. Yeah.
Because once you get ready though, man, you're going to go.
Dialing in.
Done is always better than perfect.
Done is always better. I love that.
One of my favorite quotes is how was actually that is action is the middle finger to doubt.
Yeah.
And it's so true. We're all so doubtful. You know, it's the middle finger to doubt. Let's go take action. Stop worrying about it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop worrying that it's gonna fail and just go do it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I don't think you guys give real estate enough credit in what you do. I'm not an agent, but when I started with Mindy Newton. And the first thing she taught me, even as an admin, was the 3 most stressful things a human goes through in their life is death, divorce, and buying or selling a home. And so it's not our job to sell anything. It's our job to be a resource for that stressful time in your life. Like it's a big deal. And so to take it seriously, and you guys are the voices for that time in their life, and it's your job not to sell, but to be a trusted resource. And I think that's where I always try to lift agents up. Like, you're not selling anything. You guys are actually remarkable people guiding people in that stressful time.
Right. Right.
Good stuff.
Selling the plan, selling yourself, and the rapport, right? And building the rapport so that you're trusted.
Yeah.
In that hard time, that most difficult time, for sure. Well, you guys, I want this week is, you know, it's a busy week. And I think we can all get out there and do stuff. But before that, come on the broker tour with us, right? Take Amy's contracts class. Make sure you know what's coming up. I think there's some changes. Thursday. Friday's new agent orientation. Anybody that's new coming in, it's a wonderful resource class that Amy does. Bring your laptop to it. It's 2 hours long. And she is just amazing about taking us through some of the websites that and all the resources and stuff we have right at our fingertips. And then that's Friday, right?
Yeah.
That's this Friday. So there's some calendars here, and if anybody has a rockstar person that could be a good ASC that could take on the role and is very tech savvy, social media savvy, wants to teach tech classes or anything like that. Let me know. Yeah. Anything else? I had a lot of people come in late. What did I miss? Ducks. If you have ducks, if your admins have ducks, if your TCs have ducks, have our ducks turned in, and then we'll do our drawing next week.
Get your ducks in a row.
And just
Get
a
your
really
ducks in a row.
tiny reminder to lock the door going in and out.
Oh, yeah.
It's been unlocked like 5 times the last
Everlasting.
7 times.
It doesn't automatically lock when you, if you go in the door, you have to lock it behind you. If you go out the door, you have to lock it behind you, huh?
It should, but also we can also.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
What was it?
8 violations.